Hi everyone, my name is Tamara Mackenzie and I'm the head of schools for the Heinz Simonette School in Rose Hall, Montego Bay. Since the closure of schools on March 12, 2020, we've had to reassess our entire operation. It has been quite the journey, and I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you some of the tips and tricks that you can employ in your own schools. All of us as private school operators, we are charged with not only the responsibility to administrate the business of our schools, but also to ensure that our institutions are financially viable. Many of us would have had fallout since the closure of schools with our tuition fees and even with recommitment. We've lost many of our students for various reasons, and we now are forced in a position where we have to ensure quality assurance of all services being rendered. So what can we do? One of the first things that we have to appreciate is that we're in this together. We're in this together, and there are entities that can support us. For me, I've been allowed in a space, or a space has been created for me to partner with the team at NCEL. We have had the privilege to engage in their VIL program, which has given us the toolkit that we can now employ in our reopening strategies. Now where we are, we have to now be looking at how many of our students can return. We've broken it down. We've walked our campus, we've looked at the spaces that can be reused, we've implemented redeployment strategies, we've done the research. One of the things that we have to do in this time, read. We have to look at what is available around us, and we have to pull from other partners, other operators who are experiencing similar challenges, because none of us would have had the experience of reopening our private schools after a pandemic. And so we're all in this together, and we're all amateurs. So here are the tips I'd love to share with you. Tip 1, bringing everyone together. Bring in your teachers, bring in your administrative teams, bring in the ancillary staff. Have a conversation with where we are. Once they realize that it is inclusive, we're listening to each other and we're doing it together, everyone becomes more invested. Once our teams are invested, the energy will be there. Once we're all mobilized, we're going to get it done. And importantly, we're coming through this together. That's the most powerful thing that can happen at the end of this journey, that our teams exit this pandemic stronger. Our school spirit increases, and the buy-in from our parents increases. Next tip I would share, start with what you have. Don't look at the other schools and what they're doing. Don't get caught up in what everyone else is doing. Look at what you have. Do you have sanitizers already? Do you have some alcohol? What do you have? Do you have tables that can be used as sanitization areas? Can you afford signage? Now, if we can't afford these types of signage, what else can we use? How can we improvise? Can we use colored tape? Can we use signs that we make in the schools? Many of our teachers are very artistic. Can we create flyers to put around our school? Can we use cartridge paper? What can we use that we already have? Then we need to look at how much wiggle room do we have in our budget? What do we have that we can now reinvest into our COVID-19 preparation? And based on what we have, what would be the most important and what would be the most impactful purchase? So with every acquisition that you're making, look at impact and look at need. Once we get there, we're on our way. If it is that there is nothing in the budget, which many of us have, do what I did. Call all of your board members, ask them, how much can you give us? Can you make a donation? How can you help? Another step that we have taken is to ensure that our teams are fully engaged and fully on board with all sanitization protocols. It is when our teams fully understand and buy into our protocols that they will be upheld. And another thing we've had to revisit is our execution plan. In everything we do in a private institution, a dollar value must be affixed. So not only do we have to plan and implement policies, but we have to now monetize them. We have to look at the cost that is associated with each action that we're taking or even asking our teams to take. So if we're having cleaning schedules 3 times per day or 4 times per day, what is the cost per cleaning cycle? How do we manage our usage? How do we get our staff on board to support us and so as to ensure there is no wastage? These are the conversations that we have to have with our teams, and I encourage you to start there. Policy creation has saved this school. We drafted a policy when school closed, which would have governed our distance learning portfolio. That allowed us to ensure that our teams, both teaching, administrative, and ancillary teams, were properly engaged and working together to achieve the ultimate vision of our school. Through our reopening exercises, we have stepped a bit further to ensure that outside of our distance learning policies and programs, that we are rebuilding, recreating, and getting abreast with programs that would be relevant for the days to come. In my position, I took the opportunity to look at my numbers, to reassess the viability of my school. So I looked at my worst case and best case numbers. I looked at my return rate. I looked at my expenses, and I made as many cuts as I could have so as to ensure that my teachers were given stability and they were secure in their positions. One of the things I don't want us to do in private schools is to ever become reactionary. To cut salaries without proper planning is reactionary. That was one of my very last action items, and I'm happy to say that it never came to that. After looking at our numbers, we then have to look at the capacity that we have as a school. As a school, we're fortunate to tap into various communities. And so what I did was to lean on the community. I called in various stakeholders, parents, business operators. I sat with them, went to them, met with them, and we had a conversation. Everything started from that conversation. What can we do together? What can we share? From there, we were able to implement and mobilize. We got the support individually and in some cases collectively. That was able to propel us forward. In most cases, we did not receive cash, but what we got was a free, open space to engage in a conversation which allowed us then to plan together. Principals, one of the steps that I've taken that I would strongly recommend that you pursue is including the medical community in your strategic planning. We took the decision to include the health center and the private hospital that is closest to our school and speak to them about what are the steps that we should take. What is their opinion of our operation? How would they guide us? What are the recommendations that they're willing to share on our reopening? From these discussions and consultation sessions, were we able to draft a workable policy. One of the things that we have to ensure is that time is of the essence, and so while we plan, we must first consult, because we have to ensure that these plans that we're putting into place are viable. These are plans that will stand up to scrutiny, and we have many eyes on us, so we need the expertise. And the last tip I will share is to tap into the resources around you. You will have other colleagues that you can lean on, that you can call. Start the networking. Reach out to the teams at the ministry that are on the ground, in schools, that will connect. Reach out to NCEL. Reach out to principal groups that are productive, that are pushing. Reach out to other private school owners, operators who will help you. My network was created by just a drive to meet and share, and that's where we'll get the partnership. I I still believe if we come together, we work hard, we push, we dream, we create, that this school year will be the one where we're all the most innovative, where we will create and re-energize education and our schools at a whole new level. So don't be disheartened, don't drop your hands, and don't give up.